Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. I have a Disney World trip coming up in a couple of months, and this is actually going to be the first time that I'm vlogging a Disney World trip with my family. So I just thought it might be nice for you to get to know me a little bit more before those videos come out. Get to know why I love Disney so much, why I chose to come onto YouTube and talk about Disney all the time, where that all stems from. I thought it would just be a nice thing to do. So yes, I'm Allison, and here in my channel, I like to make all different types of Disney World content, including vlogs from our own family vacations. I have a husband, his name is Bruce, and we have a 9-year-old daughter and a just turned 4-year-old son, and we all love Disney. So let's start from the beginning for me. So I've been going to Disney World forever, since I was a baby. I lived in California for a very brief time when my dad was working over there. And I was a baby. I honestly don't even remember it. My sister was probably around 3. So we did go to Disneyland while we were over there. So I have been to Disneyland, but I have no recollection of it. But anyway, that was my first interaction with going to Disneyland. And then from there, we moved back to New York, where I still currently am. And since then, since I was, I think we went to Disney World when I was about 2. And since then, up until about probably age 10 or 11, we would go every year to Disney World. So it has always been a part of my childhood. And outside of going to Disney World, there was always, playing with the character toys and watching the Disney Channel, going to see every single movie when it came out in the theater. So it's always just been there. It's always been a part of my life. And then we took a little bit of time off going, through the teenage years. And then I did go on a special trip with just me and my sister when I was 18. And then in our early 20s, we went again as a family of 4. My parents and me and my sister went as young adults. And that was a really fun trip that we went on. Also, thinking about those trips that I took as a kid, and thinking about, okay, there's all that nostalgia that everybody talks about, going there. And I think a big part of that for me especially was that, my dad, he worked a lot. We didn't see him all the time. So when we were on vacations, it was just, it was always the 4 of us, and it was together, and we were all there together at, for a whole week or however long it was, there together. And it was just those types of fond memories. And obviously we had gone on other vacations as well. But I think for Disney World, which is actually Walt's whole vision of Disneyland and Disney World, was that families got to ride on all those rides and do all those things together, instead of just like if you go to like a carnival and you have the kiddie rides, and it's the parents are kind of like, okay, like go on your kiddie ride, like I can't even go on there if I wanted to, but in Disney World and Disneyland, they can do those things with you. And I think that is just such a huge part of why I love Disney World so much, is because I have those fond memories of my family being together and doing all these things together. And you're watching your parents kind of like become kids with you. And now, being a parent myself, and my husband feels the same way too, it's like going and watching it through their eyes, and knowing that you're acting kid-like as well, and just being with your kids in that type of way, it just brings another level to it. I think it just gives it that, like, that is where the magic comes from. That's the magic of Disney World, is doing all these things together and having that childlike feeling. And some people get that like a bad it's not bad. I think that's good. I think acting like a child and having that feeling of having no care in the world is an amazing feeling, and everybody should get to have that feeling. And it might not be Disney for you. It might be something else that gives you that feeling, and that's okay. But for me and for many others, it's Disney. It's Disney World that does that. And then that was kind of the end for me for a while, until I was in my 30s and went with my own kids. So I did take a really big hiatus of going to Disney World, and on that nostalgia note of experiencing that as a kid, having those feelings of my family being together and those wonderful feelings, now going as an adult with my own kids, now I have that like extra layer of my dad always talks about how it was a magical place to be and we loved it because we loved being there with you and all of that. And now I have another layer of that because I have the nostalgia of being there as a kid, which he didn't. My parents didn't go as kids. So now I have that nostalgia from being a kid, and now also seeing it through my own kids' eyes and having them experience the same things that I experienced. So there's that extra level of just magic. It really, like, that's the only way that I can really explain it, is magic. It's magical. I mean, the first time that we went after I had gone through that long hiatus, I knew I was going to cry at some point. And I thought it was going to be when it was going under the Walt Disney World welcome sign. I thought that was going to be it, but it wasn't. It was on the drive in. And as you're going along, you see the monorail tracks coming out from the trees. And as we were driving by, the monorail came by and I lost it. I started crying because it just brought back so many memories of just being on the monorail. Where else are you going to go on a monorail like that? There's only one place, so it just brings back those memories, and I love it. And I love having those feelings, and it just feels, it's just something that I will probably never experience anywhere else, and some people think that's silly and some people understand it, and I don't care if it's silly. That's how I feel. And I know a lot of you watching probably maybe feel the same way, or you're interested in, am I going to feel that way when I go too? Are my kids going to be like that? And it's really, it is such a magical place. I did just want to mention, because, talking about, this whole label of being a Disney adult, I had gotten the book that AJ Wolf wrote recently, the Disney adult book, and getting it and, thinking about myself, and I'm like, am I a Disney adult? Because I don't go to Disney World as often as I would like, or as often as many other people go. Can I even consider myself a Disney adult? Am I a Disney adult? And then there was one part in her book where she said, if you are having a bad day or you're feeling down or whatever, and you turn to Disney, any part of Disney, a movie, a show, a book, Disney World, Disneyland, you are a Disney adult. And I was like, okay, that's me. I absolutely 100% turn to Disney when I need a pick-me-up. And I've always been like that, always. And even as a young adult, if I was having a really bad day or, a hard time doing something, I would throw on The Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast, and it would make me feel so much better. And I still do that now. Now it looks a little bit more like turning on YouTube and watching some Disney vloggers, because seeing Disney World and seeing people in Disney World and all the things just gives me so much joy. And I love just like seeing it and living through them. And so I still do it now. And so I do consider myself a Disney adult because I do turn to Disney. My house is a Disney World house. I'm raising my kids to love Disney as well. My husband did not grow up the same way that I did. He didn't go to Disney until he was older, so he doesn't have that same connection that I do, but he absolutely 100% appreciates what it is and the feelings that you get when you're there and watching your kids there, and it's clean and it's safe and it's, all the cast members are amazing and the customer service is amazing. So even though he hates how expensive it is, he absolutely understands that the price is worth it because of everything that you're getting, the details, the immersiveness of it, just being there, being in the bubble. and just feeling that immersive feeling of once you're there, you really do just feel the magic. So even though he didn't grow up with it, he doesn't have that same nostalgia as I do, but he definitely appreciates it for what it is. And I'm actually probably lucky that he doesn't love it as much as I do, or else we'd probably be in a lot of debt trying to get there more than we actually can afford to. So it's probably good that he holds me back a little bit, and I can love and experience Disney without actually having to go there. And now coming into why I'm choosing to be on YouTube and kind of just like talk about Disney World, it's because I literally love to research different things about Disney, you know, finding out different news, helping anybody who, you know, I love just like planning. I love planning. I love packing. I love doing all those things that get you ready to go on your trip. And if my videos help someone, you know, make it a little bit easier, then I feel like I've been successful. And honestly, I just love talking about Disney World and being I'm a stay-at-home mom. I homeschool my kids. So I needed also to have some form of creative outlet, and this is just the perfect thing for me. You know, I can talk about Disney World. I love editing the videos. You know, I love filming. I like doing all those things. So this just kind of, it makes sense for me to do. And I'm really, really excited about filming and vlogging our trip. I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm going to have so much fun editing it when we get back home. I'm very excited for it, and I hope all of you will check them out when they come out. So definitely subscribe if you're not subscribed yet so you don't miss those videos. I'm so excited about them. But yeah, I mean, I needed a creative outlet. Like I said, you know, I love talking about Disney World, and I think my husband gets a little, you know, not annoyed, because he does like hearing about it too, but I can just go on and on and on about it. So in this way, it kind of gives me a way to do that. It gives me a way to research certain things for the videos that I want to do. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to do that. I love it. I really love it so much so far. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely leave down in the comments your Disney story. I would love to hear how you came to love Disney World, or if it's your first time going, what made you want to go, and how excited are you about going? So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on those upcoming vlogs that I'm going to be making. And until next time.